right, let's dive right into this. Picture this for a second. You're walking up to a building, and right there, on a heavy glass door, in big, bold, unmistakable letters, is the word pull. So what do? Well, half the time your brain just kind of goes on autopilot and you push it anyway. It's almost comical, but it actually points to something deeply wired into human nature. We instinctively resist being told exactly what to do, even when the instruction is literally written on the wall right in front of us. Today, in this explainer, we are unpacking the fascinating and honestly somewhat counterintuitive world of reverse psychology. We're going to look at the actual science behind why our brains push back and how you can strategically navigate this to get people on board with your ideas. I mean, have you ever noticed that the more you tell someone to do something, the absolutely less they want to do it? Maybe it's a colleague you need a favor from, or maybe it's just trying to decide on a restaurant with a friend. The harder you press, the more they just dig their heels in. We often think of reverse psychology as this kind of childish trick, right? Like telling a toddler they absolutely cannot eat their broccoli just so they'll demand it. But as you'll see today, it is actually a highly sophisticated strategy used by master communicators, negotiators, and leaders. It's really not about trickery, it's about profoundly understanding human autonomy. So let's break that down in Section 1, the Science of Reactance. The bedrock of our entire explainer today is this concept of psychological reactance. Basically, this is the brain's automatic defensive response to any perceived threat to its freedom. You can think of it like a behavioral immune system. When people feel pressured to act in a certain way, an alarm bell literally rings in their head. The brain goes, wait a minute, my freedom of choice is being threatened here. So what do? They instinctively do the exact opposite just to prove to themselves and to you that they are still the ones in control. Reverse psychology doesn't fight this defensive response, it actually uses it. It flips the switch by ensuring the desired action feels like a completely free choice, rather than some top-down command. And that brings us to Section 2, Mastering 2 Persuasion Techniques. Technique number 1 is called the illusion of choice. This is all about flipping that reactant switch we were just talking about. If the brain absolutely hates being told what to do, well, the solution's pretty simple. Don't tell it what to do. Let it choose. But the catch is, you construct the choices so that all roads lead to your desired destination. Let's say you give someone a direct command, help me. If you say that to someone, their psychological reactance flares up immediately. It feels like an obligation, a burden. They might help you, sure, but they'll likely resent it or just drag their feet. But what if you offer the illusion of choice instead? You say, I was going to finish this myself, but I wasn't sure if you wanted the more creative part or the analytical part. See the difference there? Actually, scratch that. You aren't even asking if they will help. You're asking how they want to help. You've subtly shifted the entire premise of the conversation. And the underlying mechanics of why this works are just flawless. The very moment you offer a choice between A and B, the target's brain immediately goes to work evaluating the options. Am I feeling creative today or analytical? Because their cognitive energy is entirely focused on making that choice, they literally forget to resist the initial request to help. The reactance alarm just never goes off. And crucially, the target feels completely in control. They made the autonomous decision to take on the creative part. You didn't force them. They volunteered. Okay, let's move on to our second method, strategic disqualification. If the first technique leverages our desire for autonomy, this second one leverages something equally powerful, our ego. It relies on the simple, undeniable psychological fact that people absolutely love to prove other people wrong. Imagine telling your team, I was thinking about this new strategy, but honestly, it might be too intense for us right now. This is a prime example of strategic disqualification in action. If you want a team or just a single person to take a risk or try something new, pitching it aggressively will usually just make them defensive. They'll start listing out all the reasons it won't work. But by introducing the idea and immediately disqualifying them from it by suggesting they might not be quite ready, you completely change the dynamic. Let's actually map out the target's exact mental process when you use a phrase like that. Step 1. The target hears the disqualification. They hear the words, too intense for us. Step 2. Their ego is instantly triggered. The internal monologue goes, wait, what do you mean too intense? We can handle anything. And that naturally leads to step 3. The target starts arguing for the idea just to prove you wrong. Do you see the genius in this? You are no longer pushing them. They are doing all the heavy lifting, pushing themselves forward just to prove they are capable of handling your strategy. But here is the catch, which we'll cover in Section 3, high versus low reactance.
Real influence and persuasion require high emotional intelligence. You absolutely cannot just copy and paste these techniques onto every single person you meet. You have to know your audience. We basically have two categories of people when it comes to this strategy. First up, you have high-reactance individuals. These are people who are naturally stubborn, maybe a bit rebellious, and fiercely protective of their independence. Reverse psychology is incredibly successful on them because their defensive alarms are so easily tripped. But then, on the flip side, you have low-reactance individuals. These folks are naturally compliant, agreeable, and usually just happy to go with the flow. If you try to use strategic disqualification on an agreeable person, if you say, hey, this might be too intense for you, they will likely just nod and say, you know what, you're right, let's not do it. It completely backfires. It just confuses them. So the absolute crucial point here is read the room. Assess the personality before you make your move.
Finally, we have Section 4, the golden rule, detachment. So we've covered the science and the techniques, but let's look at the absolute most critical element of execution, how you actually deliver the reverse prompt. The biggest mistake anyone makes when trying this is just being way too obvious. The magic of reverse psychology disappears the very second the other person senses they are being manipulated. Your delivery must remain entirely emotionally detached. You have to state your reverse opinion so casually that it seems like you genuinely do not care about the outcome. If your voice goes up an octave, if you look overly anxious, if you show even an ounce of desperation for them to take the bait, you lose all your leverage. It just has to feel like a passing thought.
Which brings us to your best ally in all of this, silence. Once you've casually dropped the illusion of choice or the strategic disqualification, you just stop talking. Let it hang in the air. Let their brain do the work. Just like this. See? That slight pause, that emotional detachment, gives the other person the space to step forward and make the choice completely on their own. And that brings us to our concluding thought for this explainer, perfectly summarized in this quote right here. True influence isn't about force, it's about understanding. Master communicators know that trying to force a behavior only creates friction. But when you truly understand how the human mind actually works, how it fiercely guards its autonomy and its ego, you can guide people to an outcome where everybody wins. It is a really powerful tool, kind of a double-edged sword, so definitely use it strategically. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever used one of these tricks without even realizing it? Drop your story in the comments below. Thanks so much for learning with us today, and until next time, stay sharp.